2200 block of 33rd Avenue South just before midnight. We have calls into Fargo PD. Stay with us right here for updates on this local breaking news. Also on your fast track this morning, heavy snowfall this season has a lot of people clearing the pileup from their roofs to cut back on pressure to their buildings. That's one thing engineers are now checking at Northrop Auditorium on the U of M campus in Minneapolis after part of its roof collapsed. Take a look. This happened Wednesday night. That building is closed until engineers determine how much damage there is. No one was hurt. No word on whether or not, though, the heavy snow accumulation in the Twin Cities was a factor. More than a dozen cattle are dead after a semi-crash near I-94 in Stutsman County, and it was all captured on security camera. You see it happen right up there. Let's take that video full screen right now. It's at the top of your screen here. The North Dakota Highway Patrol says a driver was going too fast on Highway 52 as he approached a turn onto an I-94 on-ramp. That caused the semi and the trailer to tip onto the passenger side. Firefighters, ranchers, and staff from Southwood Veterinary Clinic in Jamestown responded to treat the injured animals. 14 cows died, however, more than 100 survived. They were then taken to the Jamestown Livestock Yard. 25-year-old Danny Swartzenruber of Browerville, Minnesota, was ticketed for care required. It's the third and final day of Fargo's deep cleaning of that snow and ice from neighborhood roads. Today, the focus is on areas west of I-29. Trucks are heading out again at 7:30 this morning, and they will keep working until 5. Crews are asking that you move your cars from streets and avenues so they can get all of the ice and snow from curb to curb away that's in front of your house. 6:49 right now. Let's get a check of your fast track forecast with Summer Schnellbach in. Good morning, Summer.
Hey, good morning. Once again, some folks waking up to fog. That has returned. Yesterday was a nice break. Well, we're seeing more of that here in Fargo, along with a few flakes with that low cloud cover. The good news, south wind kicks in this afternoon. That's going to bring in some warmth. And we're looking at a beautiful weekend. Looking to next week, there are a couple chances for some snow. We'll take a closer look in a second. Temperatures across the Northern Valley are 2 degrees below zero in Devil's Lake, 5 above in Langdon and Grand Forks, 13 in Baudette, one of the warm spots, 10 in Roseau. We do have some slight visibility issues across the northern Red River Valley, Thief River Falls in particular, where visibility is at ½ of a mile. Now let's look at the southern Red River Valley. We're at 2 degrees below zero in Detroit Lakes and Fergus Falls, 8 below zero in Wadena, 12 above zero in Brainerd at this time. Visibility has been worse in parts of the southern valley, thanks in part to low stratus clouds, fog, and a little bit of falling flakes and flurries. Visibility is at 2 miles roughly in Fargo, a little less than that, quarter mile in Oaks. That's one of the places where it's been the lowest all morning long. For today in Fargo. We're starting off cold, but as that southerly wind picks up this afternoon, we're going to see temperatures warming into the teens, but it doesn't stop there. Temperatures will continue to either remain steady or rise through the overnight hours. And, well, it's looking like a nice weekend. For kids at the bus stop, chilly this morning, 8 degrees by the 8 o'clock hour, mostly cloudy, breezy heading home with those temperatures in the teens. Then the weekend is looking beautiful, nearly 10 degrees above average, near 30 both days. But sadly, that warm-up doesn't last for too long. A cold front moves through on Monday. Slight chance of snow by the end of next week, mostly looking to miss us. So all in all, some good news through the next 7 days.
Yeah, we always like it in January when we can see a 7-day without negative temperatures on it.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Yeah, we love it. Thank you, Summer. It is now 6:51. A Fargo woman is facing terrorizing charges for allegedly threatening violence against former coworkers. The business told police that 29-year-old Catherine Peterson sent the company numerous threatening emails. Police say Peterson also threatened officers when she was informed that the business had placed a trespass notice against her. Police located the suspect at her Southside home and they got her to surrender peacefully. The number of internet sex crimes is on the rise in North Dakota. Investigators got more than 1,000 cyber tips last year. That's nearly a 50% increase from the year before. They say parents need to watch out for anything with a messaging feature, which can be a way for a predator to get in touch with your child.
Anyone online can misrepresent who they are. Just because someone says that they're 13 from West Fargo doesn't mean that they are.
Parents need to be vigilant about monitoring the apps your child is using and the sites that they're visiting, maybe even putting a parental lock on your child's device. Experts also urge open and continuous communication with your child about the dangers of social media. North Dakota Attorney General Drew Wrigley wants to bring the State Bureau of Criminal Investigation and the State Crime Lab under one administrative umbrella. The BCI investigates crimes and sends evidence to the Crime Lab for testing, but Wrigley wants to streamline the process.
It's driving away a timely handling of our cases. You can't enter into meaningful plea agreements with people if you don't have the lab tests proving the purity of the drugs that are being tested, the amount of the narcotics that are being tested, the operability of a firearm, what have you. The evidence is paramount to those negotiations.
Cass County Sheriff Jesse Johnner says he's also frustrated with the system as well.
It is very embarrassing to talk to some of these victims, especially when they're victims of sexual assaults, and we can't process that type of evidence, DNA evidence. We don't know if the suspect's out victimizing other people because we can't identify those people.
Opponents of the bill are concerned that it would compromise the public's perception of the lab with both organizations under the same roof. The North Dakota House has passed a resolution to place sports betting on the next statewide ballot in 2024. The bill now goes to the Senate. Right now, sports betting is allowed only at tribal casinos in the state. Republican Greg Stamen of Fargo says legalizing sports betting would bring in millions of dollars of revenue to the state. Opponents argue that the measure would worsen gambling addictions and lead to ruined lives. There are a lot of things that people are happy to see go away with the pandemic as it fades, but free meals in public schools is not one of them. Last August brought a new school year, and along with it, the return of fees for those school lunches. But numbers show that school lunch debt is now adding up in a big way in the FM Metro. West Fargo reports their district-wide lunch school debt stands at about $10,000. In Moorhead, that number is $29,000. For Fargo schools, the debt when they were last paid in 2019 was around $17,000. However, this year, it's now over the $43,000 mark. In the three districts, high school lunches cost anywhere from $250 to $275 a day. And according to the school's policies, if the balances are not paid, reminders are first sent to the families, and then collection efforts continue until they no longer have a negative balance. All districts say they encourage struggling families to apply for free or reduced cost meals on their respective websites. Meanwhile, some DFL Minnesota lawmakers want to make that COVID-era school lunch deal a permanent program, especially as families now struggle with those rising consumer prices.
What would you rather we spend our tax money on? We have a moral imperative as a society to take care of our most vulnerable community members. And sometimes that shows up as a carton of chocolate milk, 14 baby carrots, and a grilled cheese sandwich.
One Republican on the Education Committee calls the universal school meals proposal a shotgun technique instead of a surgical approach, and he raises concerns about the ongoing price tag. It is the largest inflatable carnival in the Midwest. Fight the Frost has now returned to the Fargo Dome. That's where we find the Valley Today's Nishay Taylor live with more fun on this weekend activity. Good morning, Nishay.
Good morning, Jordan. One thing I can say for sure is I'm having a good time over here, and I'm just alone by myself with the folks at the Fargo Dome and the owner of Games Galore. This is Steve, guys. So he is the owner of Games Galore. So Steve, tell us a little bit about what people can expect.
Over 40 inflatable games packing the 80,000 square feet of the Fargo Dome. They've been a great partner to work with. So yeah, come on down.
Awesome, and there's lots of games. Tell us a little bit about this one here.
Yeah, so this is inflatable axe throw. A lot of the inflatable attractions, I mean, of course, you can jump on and climb through and slide down, but then we have a lot of interactives too. So we have Connect 4 basketball over here, Carnival 3-in-1 with a ring toss and a softball toss, and inflatable axe throwing.
All right, awesome. Well, Fight the Frost kicks off this afternoon at 3 p.m. and runs through Sunday, but we're going to have a little fun right now. Let's see who's going to be the winner of the axe throwing. So let's see who comes out on top. All right, I'll send it back to you guys in the studio. I'm Nashay Taylor reporting live at the Fargo Dome, but we're going to knock this game out real quick. Check it out.
Oh, yeah, I am here for it. Okay, Nashay, earlier she went down one of the slides and had a good time. Oh!
No, I didn't get the bullseye this time.
You know what? You did pretty good, though.
I was close.
Yeah, okay. We'll call that a winner. She hits the bullseye every morning for us here on the Valley today. Nashay, thank you. And if you can handle the cooler weather, the FM Metro's big winter celebration gets going tomorrow. Frostival will run through February 25th with mostly free events at various locations over the next 6 weeks. The idea? Find fun in this tundra. Some new events this year, though. There's a horseshoe tournament, winter kickball, and even Sauna Week. Yeah, check out the full schedule of events. They will be at frostival.com. Snowmobile trails are packed recently because of all that snow we've had so far this year. Makes for good riding conditions. However, the Minnesota DNR says snowmobile-related deaths are already at levels on par with all of last year. So they're reminding riders to take steps to make sure that everyone returns home safely.
Almost every trail in the state of Minnesota is a two-way trail. So just like our roads, we stay to the right. On snowmobiles, we stay to the right. At speeds of 50 miles per hour, two snowmobiles hitting head-on can be catastrophic.
Just last week in southern Minnesota, a child died from a snowmobile accident. Conservation officers say to watch your speed, ride together in a group, and remember the rules of the trails, and don't trespass on private property as well. The long-awaited new Blarney Stone at the Hotel Donaldson in downtown Fargo had its grand opening yesterday. Take a look inside. Beautiful with those windows as they look on Broadway. And they're getting a lot of thumbs up from it. Now, the owner of Blarney Stone Pubs purchased the hotel last March, and they spent much of last year reworking that historic space. The main floor has an Irish pub theme with new furniture, carpeting, bathrooms, and more. Blarney's will be open lunch and dinner until 1 in the morning, and their famous Dinner in Dublin breakfast will be available on Saturdays and Sundays as well. And if you're wondering, the hotel part of it is still called the Hotel Donaldson, and they are still renting out rooms, so you can do that. They say they're also going to be working on a rooftop and getting the event space ready for the basement as well. Ashlyn and I went there yesterday. I have to say, I do give it a thumbs up. The Today Show and CBS Mornings are just about to start, but the Valley Today rolls on. More news and weather coming up for you on the CW. Have a happy Friday, everyone.